Have you ever felt a shiver down your spine, even when you're completely safe in your own home? That unsettling feeling of being watched, even when you're alone? Imagine escaping a truly unnerving encounter, only to bring that same creepy feeling right back through your front door with you. This isn't just a story. It's a chilling exploration of a presence that doesn't just follow you. It settles in. Have you ever caught your own reflection move just a second too late? Elena had. And after that night, she stopped trusting mirrors. It all began on a cold, wet evening in late November. The rain had chased her all the way home, tapping against her umbrella like a set of impatient fingers. She lived alone, on the top floor of a decaying apartment block that always smelled faintly of damp and rust. The hallway lights had a habit of flickering whenever she passed, almost as if they were acknowledging her arrival. Inside her apartment, she hung her coat, kicked off her shoes, and glanced at the old ornate mirror near the door. For a moment, she didn't recognize the woman looking back. Her hair seemed darker, her eyes just a bit wider, her expression off. She laughed, blaming it on fatigue, maybe too much caffeine. But as she turned to walk into the living room, something strange happened. Her reflection didn't move. Elena froze, her blood turning to ice. Slowly, cautiously, she turned back. The reflection was still there, completely motionless, its eyes fixed on her. Then, its lips began to curl upward into a smile that wasn't hers. The corners of its mouth stretched a little too wide, revealing teeth that were far too many, and far too sharp. She stumbled backward, her pulse thundering in her ears like a drum. And just like that, the reflection moved again, perfectly normal, mirroring her terrified expression as if nothing had happened. Shaking, Elena grabbed a towel and draped it over the mirror. But that night, sleep was impossible. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw that impossible, predatory grin. Around 3 a.m, a faint tapping sound broke the silence. It was soft, rhythmic, and it seemed to be coming from the hallway. At first, she tried to convince herself it was just a pipe, or the wind rattling the building. But then, a horrifying realization dawned on her. The sound wasn't coming from the hallway. It was coming from behind the towel. Terrified, she crept closer. The tapping grew faster, more insistent, almost desperate. Then a muffled whisper slithered from the other side of the glass. "Elena!" Her heart nearly stopped. With a surge of adrenaline, she yanked the towel off the mirror. There it was, her reflection again. Only this time, it wasn't alone. Behind her reflection, deep within the dark, mirrored version of her room, stood a tall, shadowed figure. Its hand was pressed against the inside surface of the mirror, right where the tapping had been coming from. Elena spun around, her eyes wide with terror, scanning her empty apartment. There was nothing there. She whipped her head back to the mirror. Now, her reflection was gone. The glass showed only the empty room behind her. Completely gone. She screamed, a raw, guttural sound of pure fear. Grabbing the nearest heavy object, a wooden chair, she smashed it into the mirror. Glass shards exploded across the floor, glinting in the faint moonlight from the window. For one brief, horrible moment, she saw dozens of tiny reflections staring back at her from every broken piece. All of them were smiling that same awful smile. That night, she slept with every light in the apartment blazing. The days that followed were a blur of paranoia. She avoided every reflective surface. No more mirrors. She kept her curtains drawn, especially after dark. Even the black screen of her phone made her uneasy, her hand trembling every time she had to use it. But the relief didn't last. One morning, while brushing her teeth, she noticed something in the small puddle of water near the sink drain. It made her drop her toothbrush with a clatter. Her reflection in the water blinked. She hadn't. It was back. And now, it was everywhere. Watching her through anything that could cast a reflection. The polished steel of the fridge door. The curve of her coffee mug. The blank black screen of the television. Every time she turned away, she could feel it getting closer, its presence growing stronger. She knew, with a certainty that chilled her to the bone, that it didn't just want to mimic her anymore. It wanted to replace her. That final night, the neighbors heard the sound of glass breaking. A sharp, violent shatter, followed by a profound, eerie silence. When the landlord used his master key to enter the apartment the next day, he found it completely empty. Elena was gone. The only things out of place were the shattered mirrors. But as he looked closer, he saw something impossible. The broken pieces, scattered across the floor, still reflected a perfect, unbroken image of her face, smiling,